I I got a plant in my garden. It's got 40 flowers. And got a bunch of coconuts. There happen to be 40 coconuts. And I think I just counted the leaves of 2 coconut trees that are near our house. It's got a total of around 40 palms. I'm a bit confused. Does that mean a blessing or a curse? I don't know whether you got the message, but apparently there's factual analysts, as the message says, that have come out with a new message on the COVID-19 quarantine. They go on to say that, see, quarantine, the Latin root of the word quarantine is 40, which is quaranta, which is true. And they go on to say, what does the Bible say about 40? The flood lasted 40 days, I'm sorry. Moses fled to Egypt for 40 years. Moses stayed for 40 days on Mount Sinai. Exodus lasted 40 years. Jesus fasted 40 days. Lent is 40 days. Women need to rest 40 days after giving birth. They forgot to mention another 136 odd references of the word 40, or 40 days, or 40 years, or 40 months, or 40 weeks, for that matter, in the Bible. Apparently the message goes on to say, let me read it to you, it's very interesting. This lockdown has been the most amusing because the Christian messages, it's sad to see Christians getting superstitious. Anyways, listen to this. It says, a group of theologians thinks the number 40 represents change. Okay. I totally second that. You know that? I totally believe that the number 40 represents change. Our theologians need to change. And our theology needs to change. So I hope in the next 40 days, however you make that calculation, you change your theology. Anyways, let's move on. It is a time of preparing people to make a fundamental change. Okay. Apparently, God is only interested in changing and preparing people in India, because the rest of the world is not on a 40-day lockdown. In fact, many of the countries are in more than 40 days of a lockdown. Is God only interested in India? And what about states like Goa in India, which have had more than 40 days of a lockdown, 2 or 3 days extra. This is absurd, brothers and sisters. Look at this. It says, please know that during this quarantine, 40 days, rivers are cleaning up, vegetation is growing, and the air is becoming less cleaner because of less pollution. Well, you gotta look at our video, which speaks about how nature heals itself, and how that's not true. And there's less theft, less murder, healing is happening, and most importantly, people are turning to Christ. Well, not true again. The earth is at rest for the first time in many years, and the hearts are truly transforming. The earth is not at rest. The earth is without a king. The earth is without the leader. The leader are sons. Sons, new creation, men and women who have put their faith in Christ, that have to be the people in charge of earth. Anyways, it's not the point. So during this time, enjoy with your loved ones. Return to the family altar. Now, this seems very Catholic. No wonder. Okay, family prayer is a great blessing. Through prayer, you will see changes. God can work through you, in you, and in your home. Christ promises that everything works together for the good of those who love. Now, Romans 8:28. That's not true. Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you. It's not true. It does not say that God brings problems and then allows problems and then works those problems for the good of those who love him. He does not say that. He says that he works things for the good of those who love him. That means, if you look at the original Greek, that he clears the pathway. so to say, removes the problems. He works everything out so that before you reach the situation, things work for your good. Doors are open before you walk in. That's what Romans 8:28 means, not what people are quoting here. And as though that was not enough, 2020, remember we are in the year 2020. 20 plus 20 is 40. May these days of quarantine bring spiritual liberation to our souls, our nation, and our world. That's not true. Lockdown is not meant for spiritual liberation. The lockdown is a directive from the government because of an epidemic, and the epidemic is not from God, not in any way, and neither are these 40 days from God. Please stop walking in numerology, because your 40-day diagnosis, prognosis, whatever you call it, is a bunch of nonsense. It is not even true. The Bible does mention 40 days, which is mentioned in the case of many people, but that does not mean that 40 days is some blessed thing. No. If 40 days was some blessed thing, then people at the age of 40 should be the most blessed. Well, blessing comes from Christ, brothers and sisters, not from numbers. Truth and liberation come from the Spirit of God, not from numbers. Please stop believing nonsense and stop being superstitious. You're being a shame to the world. You're supposed to be an ambassador. Live like one, walk like one. And as far as those theologians that have mentioned 40 and said there's some change happening, tell those theologians, shut your mouth. Thank you. By the way, my shirt size used to be 40. I think it's 42 now. Not sure. Anyways.